The First Crusade, a historical overview. The First Crusade, launched in 1096 and concluding in 1099 with the capture of Jerusalem, was a transformative campaign that significantly reshaped the political, religious, and cultural landscapes of Europe and the Middle East. This article delves deeper into the origins, key events, and lasting legacy of the First Crusade. Origins and motivations. Religious context. The First Crusade was deeply rooted in the religious fervor of the time. The late 11th century saw a surge in Christian devotion, with many believers feeling a strong spiritual obligation to reclaim the Holy Land, particularly Jerusalem. This city held immense significance as the site of Christ's crucifixion and resurrection. Pope Urban II's call for a crusade at the Council of Clermont in 1095 was not only a plea for military action, but also a rallying cry for Christian unity against a common enemy. The idea of just war was also emerging in Christian thought, reflecting a theological justification for armed conflict in the name of faith. The Pope framed the crusade as a holy mission, promising spiritual rewards, including indulgences and eternal salvation for those who participated. This religious framework motivated many to take up arms, viewing the crusade as a path to redeem their sins. Political factors. The political landscape of medieval Europe was marked by fragmentation and rivalry among various kingdoms and principalities. The Byzantine Empire, once a dominant Christian power, was in decline and threatened by the advancing Seljuk Turks, who had captured much of Anatolia. Emperor Alexios I Komnenos sought military assistance from the West, which created an opportunity for the papacy to assert its influence. Pope Urban II viewed the crusade as a means to strengthen the Church's authority and unify Christendom. By framing the campaign as a holy war, he aimed to redirect the martial energies of knights, who were often engaged in internal conflicts, toward a shared religious goal. This appeal for unity resonated deeply in a Europe fragmented by feudalism and conflict. Socioeconomic motivations. Socioeconomic factors also played a crucial role in motivating participants. Many European knights and nobles were drawn by the promise of wealth, land, and glory. The prospect of acquiring new territories in the Holy Land appealed to those seeking to enhance their status. The Pope's offer of indulgences, remissions of the temporal punishment for sins, added a spiritual incentive, promising eternal salvation for those who took part in the crusade. For many peasants, the crusade represented a chance for a better life, an escape from poverty, or an opportunity to improve their social standing. The combination of religious zeal and socioeconomic ambition created a diverse coalition of participants. Additionally, the promise of adventure and the chance to gain honor in battle attracted many young knights eager to prove themselves. The journey to the Holy Land. The First Crusade attracted a wide range of participants, from seasoned knights to untrained peasants. This movement can be divided into two main waves: the People's Crusade and the Prince's Crusade. The People's Crusade. The People's Crusade, led by charismatic figures like Peter the Hermit, began in early 1096. This group was largely composed of poorly equipped and untrained peasants who lacked military discipline. They were motivated by a mix of religious fervor and the desire for adventure. Their journey through Europe was marked by violence, including anti-Semitic attacks on Jewish communities in the Rhineland, which reflected a disturbing trend of scapegoating and intolerance. As the People's Crusade progressed, they faced significant challenges. Upon reaching Byzantine territory, many members were unprepared for the military challenges they faced. Lacking proper training and resources, they were quickly overwhelmed by Turkish forces, leading to significant losses and a tragic end for many of these early crusaders. The disorganization and fervor of the People's Crusade starkly contrasted with the later, more disciplined Prince's Crusade. The Prince's Crusade. The Prince's Crusade, which followed later in 1096, was characterized by better organization and leadership. Composed of well-equipped armies led by European nobility, key figures included Godfrey of Bouillon, Raymond IV of Toulouse, Bohemond of Taranto, and Baldwin of Boulogne. These leaders coordinated their efforts and traveled separately, eventually converging near Constantinople, where they received assistance from the Byzantine Emperor. This phase of the Crusade was marked by strategic planning and military discipline. The prince's forces were better prepared for the challenges ahead, allowing them to engage more effectively with the Muslim forces they encountered. Their journey involved not only military maneuvers, but also complex diplomatic interactions with Byzantine officials, setting the stage for the eventual collaboration and tension between the Crusaders and their Byzantine allies. Major battles and the Siege of Jerusalem. The Crusaders faced numerous challenges on their journey, including harsh terrain, supply shortages, and resistance from well-organized Muslim forces. Nonetheless, they achieved several significant victories that paved the way to Jerusalem. Capture of Nicaea. One of the first major successes was the capture of Nicaea in June 1097. This victory not only bolstered the morale of the Crusaders, but also secured a critical foothold in Asia Minor. The Siege of Nicaea involved a coordinated effort among the Crusaders, showcasing their ability to work together despite their diverse backgrounds. The city's capture allowed the Crusaders to establish a stronger presence in the region. Battle of Dorylaeum. Shortly thereafter, the Crusaders faced the Seljuk Turks at the Battle of Dorylaeum in July 1097. Initially ambushed, the Crusaders rallied and launched a counterattack that demonstrated their military cohesion and effectiveness. This battle showcased the importance of cavalry tactics and the ability of the Crusaders to adapt to battlefield challenges. The victory solidified their position in Asia Minor and allowed them to continue their advance toward Jerusalem. Siege of Antioch. The Siege of Antioch, 1097 to 1098, was one of the most challenging phases of the campaign. After months of hardship, including starvation and disease, the Crusaders managed to breach the city's defenses with the help of a traitor. However, they soon faced a Muslim relief army intent on recapturing the city. The siege was marked by desperation, strategic ingenuity, and religious fervor, culminating in a successful defense against the counterattack. The capture of Antioch established it as a crucial stronghold for the Crusaders and served as a base for further advances into the Holy Land. Siege of Jerusalem. In June 1099, the Crusaders reached Jerusalem, which was heavily fortified and defended by Fatimid forces. After a month-long siege, the Crusaders launched a decisive assault on July 15th, breaching the walls and capturing the city. The conquest of Jerusalem was marked by widespread violence and atrocities, as many inhabitants, Muslims, Jews, and even some Christians, were killed in the aftermath. This brutal victory signaled the culmination of the First Crusade and the establishment of Christian control over the Holy City. The fall of Jerusalem had profound implications for both sides. For the Crusaders, it was a moment of triumph and religious fulfillment. For Muslims, it was a devastating loss that rallied resistance against the Crusaders in the years to come. Legacy and impact. The success of the First Crusade had profound and lasting consequences for both Europe and the Middle East. The establishment of Crusader states, such as the Kingdom of Jerusalem, introduced new political entities to the region and set the stage for ongoing conflict between Christians and Muslims. Impact on European society. For Europe, the First Crusade reinforced papal authority and demonstrated the power of religious mobilization. The Church played an increasingly significant role in political matters, and the idea of holy war became more entrenched in Christian thought. The Crusade also facilitated cultural exchange between East and West, influencing art, architecture, science, and trade. For example, the introduction of Eastern goods and knowledge enriched European culture and helped spur the Renaissance. The establishment of military orders, such as the Knights Templar and the Knights Hospitaller, emerged from this period as well, creating institutions that combined religious devotion with military service. These orders played crucial roles in the defense of the Crusader states and became influential in European politics. Long-term consequences. However, the First Crusade also exacerbated tensions between Christians and Muslims, as well as between different Christian factions. The brutal methods employed by the Crusaders during their conquests fostered resentment and hostility that would persist for centuries. The legacy of the First Crusade would shape the course of Christian-Muslim relations and influence subsequent crusades, which continued the cycle of conflict and retribution. The establishment of the Crusader states created a complex geopolitical landscape characterized by alliances, betrayals, and ongoing warfare. The interaction between the Crusaders and local Muslim populations varied widely, ranging from cooperation to violent conflict, influencing the cultural and social dynamics of the region. Historical reflection. The First Crusade remains a subject of extensive historical study due to its complexity and enduring impact on both the Christian and Islamic worlds. It serves as a poignant reminder of how faith, politics, and ambition can intertwine to shape history in profound ways. The events of the First Crusade laid the groundwork for future interactions between East and West, influencing international relations and cultural exchanges for centuries to come. In modern times, the First Crusade is often revisited in discussions about religious conflict, cultural interaction, and the interplay of power and faith in shaping historical narratives. Its legacy continues to evoke strong feelings and debates about identity, religion, and historical memory, reflecting the ongoing relevance of this significant chapter in world history.